Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to work on this thing again. We need to finish up the steering entirely, and we need to start getting the coilovers mocked up and figure out where exactly they're going to live so we can start getting this thing ready for flex testing. Took a little bit of a break from it to do some design stuff, so excited about that, but time to get back on this. Let's get to it. All right, we set it to full bump and got the coilovers in here mocked up. Right now the clearance is pretty tight on the master there, as well as this bump stop. The other side has more clearance and an engine bay is open on the other side, so we may have to change up this mount style and move it out, which is okay. So we'll see. We'll work on the driver's side first, and then this side we'll just make match, since this side has a lot more clearance right now due to the track bar pushing the axle this way a little bit, and then there's nothing up here. So figure out the driver's side first and then make a copy. I bent up a nice simple hoop and I moved the lower mounts backwards. Up here, still pretty tight. Normally I like to do like a tab underneath the tube, but with this setup that put the coilover way out here, and then even if we try to lean this in, it would hit the master cylinder. So just gonna make some simple tabs, and then we will box all that into a crossbar to make it nice and strong. So let's get these tabs good. Got the hoops tacked in on both sides and the mounts tacked in. Everything's clearing right now, so pretty much time to start doing the flex testing to make sure everything works how I want it to and clears. Alright, so we did a tiny bit of trimming, and to do flex testing it's pretty important to test all the clearances so nothing hits. So this little slider kind of gives me the width of the spring, and that just helps make sure I have all the clearance there. We want to make sure all the clearance on the steering and the links work. So I have it just on one jack stand right now, and we'll test this side first, and then we got to get it to be able to turn lock to lock without hitting anything as well. And then make sure that the slider, or where the springs will be, won't hit the tire. And then I like to make everything work with when the suspension bottoms out full bump, as well as when it's articulated, the bump stops working the entire time. Just takes the load off of the suspension. So spreads it out, and right now everything's looking pretty dialed. Still got a tiny bit more trimming to do on this bumper to see if we can get it to turn fully the other way and spin freely. So right now everything's clearing underneath. We just need to shave the bumper a little. Got everything on this side clearing, full lock to lock. It's looking good. right, with the everything clearing exactly how I want it to, going to finish up all the little stuff. So I only have one bolt currently in the steering, so I got to finish the other 2 bolts. I will be double shearing this, obviously clean up that mount and get everything ready to weld, get the coilovers all figured out and complete on the hoops. And then I also need to finish up the steering by double shearing everything down here. So a lot of little stuff to get done. Let's get after it. Alright, I bent this tube up to be an engine bar, as well as tie the coilover towers together, which also notches into the coilover mount itself, just to keep it nice and strong. And then there's some disconnects to make it removable. That way the engine's still easy to service, and with the disconnects being out here, you can still get to the master cylinder and whatnot if need be. So, should keep some nice strength in there, and looks good. Alright, so the steering is all hooked up. Like I said, there wasn't all the holes drilled, but it does turn right now. So we're going to pull the box off real quick, drill that last hole, and then we just need to put some sleeves in and then plate the backside. So we'll get that done real quick, and the backside is going to be kind of weird just because there's only one hole showing with how this front end's set up. But either way, we'll plate that, keep it nice and strong. So let's get this box off and drill that hole out. Alright, now that we got the new holes drilled out, we got some 3/4 inch tubing, which will go right inside of there, and then we'll make those into sleeves, and then that will keep the frame from collapsing when you bolt the box up nice and tight. Alright, so we got these 2 sleeved, and then there's a sleeve on the backside on top of the frame for this one. So all 3 bolts are in and tight, so the box doesn't move anymore. And now that will allow us to fully test everything, and then once we go to full weld all of this, we will plate behind here. It's already plated here, but it's not on this bolt. So we'll do a fish plate that ties into this bolt and this bolt, as well as the backside, and keep it nice and strong. So for now, the steering just needs to be bolted all back up, and we can test it. Alright, so all the steering works, there's no play in it. We do need to test it one more time while flexing, just to make 100% sure. I did some sleeves here, some tubing around the 1-inch tubing, 125 wall, so it fits nice and tight around the 3/4 bolt, but that will also be getting double sheared. Just haven't made that yet. But right now that will hold it in place where it needs to be while we do all the testing.